Well, I think we're back on here again. Yep, alright. So it's been a hot minute, but we're back at it here, and we're moving on to wipers, which is fun and necessary. So we got a couple things going on here that make this a little bit more enjoyable. Right now I'm doing some of our historic cars. And get started with the Ferrari 250 GTO. Now this is actually a little bit harder to start with, because it has, as you can see, two wipers. So we're going to go to Create, Systems, we're going to go Bones IK Chain, and basically wherever I click and drag, I don't even have to drag, I just move the mouse. It drags it out, and I left click, and then it gives me this extra one. I right click to terminate, and then delete. And then I do the same thing for this bone here, and this bone here. Now you could add two more bones to the wipers themselves to get that extra little bit there, but I don't, because it's a pain in the butt and I haven't been able to actually get it to work. But you'll kind of see the basic operation here in a minute anyway. So this will be a slightly different than normal, I guess you could say, but all of the basic principles apply. So we're just going to zero in this root bone, so that way it's nice. That you need to make sure all the rest of the bones don't move around. Make sure you've got that selected. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that this is, you know, pretty much in there as much as possible. And get this lined up to where it makes sense. Just keep you 0 for the moment for that angle. So that's pretty good. And we'll get this other one over here. And first we'll make sure that it's pretty much at that pivot point. Close enough. And then we'll go ahead and rotate. I like to use these, they feel a little bit less temperamental to work with. Alright, so now we've got our bones in the right place. Now I'm going to name them appropriately. So the first one is wiper root. Second one is bone 01. This is bone 2. So we actually, let's see if I remember this correctly, I think we actually have to split these into two wipers, if I can remember correctly. I'm just going to look real quick at my Lamborghinis, because I think that those had, I think the Lamborghinis had double wiper blades that work. So I'm just going to double check the 3D on that one, if I can find one. I'm just going through some old pictures here real quick to remind myself of which cars had the doubles, because I did spend a bit of time sorting out how to make that work. It's just easier if you can go right back to that and take a peek-see. It's just taking a hot second to load these up. There we go. So if we open this guy up, unfortunately just one. Alright, so which one had the double? Which car was that? Forgive me a minute while I go and pull this through. As an ad plays in the background. Okay. go to our old chapters here, see if I can find it that way. 2022 picks. Here we go. This will tell us. It might have been one of the hypercars actually that had this. Maybe it was an old Porsche or something. No, doesn't make any sense. Was it the Lamborghini? No, that one's a single. So not the Lambo, not the Toyota, not the Glickenhaus. Man, which one was this? Was it the... Admit it is a little bit embarrassing. I don't remember this. Might have been the Ferrari. Let's look at the FXXK. I don't think it was. But, you know, been wrong before. Let me just double check, make sure. No, okay, the Lamborghini definitely no. It looks like the Pagani in the background there is a no, so it might just be that FXXK. Man, look at those old Bolide taillights. Those things were awesome. Can't wait to bring that car back. Koenigsegg has a center one. I'm really struggling to find. Wait, here we go. Ferrari. So that one looks like it just has a gigantic wiper blade on it. Man, I can't remember. So basically what I'm trying to do is figure out... Oh, maybe it was the Lamborghini. I was right. Okay, well, so that makes it a little bit easier. So we'll go over here to my mods. And we'll pull up the Huracan. I'm just going to double check my 3D and see what we're looking at in terms of the wipers. This is just going to be a quick refreshment of the memory. Typically you're working with one. For most cars you're working with one. The process is pretty much the same when you're working with two, but there's just a slight reconfiguration of how you deal with it. Which I want to say is you basically just have two different wipers and you treat them separately. Where's the other wiper? No, I was just looking at that. Okay, maybe that was not that one. What was I just looking at then? I don't want to split it up if I don't know for sure. Alright, back to looking we go. Wouldn't have been any of the 71 models. It's the Mustang? Nope, that's got a single. This one's just a single. Yep. .908 is just a single. Well, now what the heck? Let's get another different look at the Lamborghini. I mean, yeah, that looks like just a single wiper blade. I am honestly just a bit shocked that I can't find this right away. Yeah, these are all singletons. What about the... So it must have been a GT, and I feel like that's probably accurate. Didn't even have a wiper for the Valkyrie. What's up with that? Need a good shot of the Mustang just to be sure. Yeah, that one looks like it's straight up and down. Well, it's not the Glickenhaus. And it's not the Pagani. I don't think. It looks like that's centered. Gotta say, this is pretty frustrating. So what mods did we do? If not just these. Let's go ahead and look real quick here. 1991, was it 98? Maybe 98 had some. Can't even tell anything from that. You can't see a damn thing. Well, let's just look. Perhaps the Mustang was one. I just did the Porsche, so I'm pretty sure that one is not one. Marcos doesn't have a wiper running right at the moment. Viper would have been the only other one that I could think of. That's a bummer. We'll try this one. Man, maybe I should have grabbed this before. I really thought that it was that Lamborghini, but seemed to be incorrect. Let's take a look at. Okay. Did we really only have one work? Well, it's fun. Let's say so. Hmm. You know, I think it can still be part of the same object. I don't think you have to separate since you're going to assign it to the different vertices. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and we'll see what happens here. So the first thing you got to do is you got to put these as children. So you do it like that, and then you go over to the wiper, single wiper object, and then we're going to add the skin modifier. And then you're going to go ahead and add your wiper bits on here. Make sure they're all selected. Boom, they pop down here. And then we're going to say edit envelopes. We're going to click vertices, uncheck those two, the envelopes and cross sections. And so with wiper 1, we're just going to say this is the driver wiper. We're going to go ahead and make sure we're selected up there. We're editing the vertices, so we're going to select all of those. What are you doing? Don't be dumb. And absolute effect we're going to set as 1. And we're going to select that all the vertices there, go to bone 2, because that is our bone 2. And then we're going to make vertices 1. It looks like it already is. Am I on bone 2? Yeah, I am. Alright, so you can see if we go to bone 1, it goes to 0 because of that. And then for the root, we're going to have that one selected. And so what we're going to do here is we just have to have a single vertice picked. So we go to root, make sure that's selected there. Envelope, because apparently I clicked off of it. That was my bad. And holding control, I'm going to click this other one. So both of those are rooted in position. They should not fly off into oblivion, although we do have to set our absolute effect to 0.01. And then that should be it for those. And then we'll stop editing our envelope. Actually, one thing I did need to check. It looks sometimes if you're, you got to make sure your wiper is zeroed out and everything. That's a huge thing that sometimes gets overlooked and it can cause problems. Doesn't seem to be an issue here. So what we'll do is we'll go to bone 1. We'll start with this one. Let's go ahead and click auto key. So that what that means is any changes we make here, which we're going to just do rotation, any changes automatically get recorded. So if I, well, first I'm going to check this here because we're in a neutral position. Although I do see that we're slightly inside, oops, slightly into the window. You don't want to be inside the window. If I go to bone, it's the same thing here. We're just going to kind of click this one out of there, so that way it's not inside the windshield. It's close, but it's not in there. So, I'm going to go ahead and click that button there. Apparently it didn't record that for some reason. I don't know why. Now it says that each one needs to have a key, and I'll just go ahead and put one here on the root, but you don't have to. At least I haven't found that the root has to have one. So we're just going to go back here to this one. So we've got one, and then what I like to do is, because this is going to go out and then back in, I'm going to click on the first keyframe, hold shift, and then drag, and that's going to put one over there, and then I'm going to go to 10. Notice that I have this set up so that way they're at 20 frames. You might have to change that by clicking the time configuration down here and setting it as end time is 20. So with that one checked, we're going to go ahead and swing this over, maybe about there. It seems like pretty good coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and check here and make sure that, now typically it'd be nice if you could use another bone on this and set it so that way it actually adjusted this part of it, but unfortunately rFactor 2 things being what they are, we can't do that. So what we are going to do is we're going to get as close as we can, because you're not going to really notice this kind of stuff. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the bones themselves so that way we don't see them. You still want to be moving the bones, not the wiper itself. And this is not... Why is this not... Oh, I'm sorry. I was on bone 2. Never mind. That's okay. We'll come back here. I'll just delete this for right now, but we'll come back and deal with that. So now we can go to the midway point. And the first one we'll say... And then we'll shift click, drag, because this is going to be the same point over there. So wonk, we're going to go to... Let's go to 3. And then if we shift click to, and then drag that over to 7, I think. No, I'm sorry. It needs to be, don't want to do that. Basically, you want to go to any spot where there isn't, or where it's going through the window. Why are you bouncing back? Okay, I did something wrong here. What did I do? Let's just get rid of these. Alright, so that's the approximate thing we want there. So if we go to 5, okay, let's drag that to 15. So you can see it goes through there, which isn't great. Alright, so if we go 3, so if we click drag there, yep. Alright, so that's good. 1 seems to be off, so we'll kind of come out of the window there. Click drag. Oh, are we still coming through? Okay. And if we hit play, that's not too bad. This part down here is a little bit janky, but we can fine-tune that as much as we wish. Right now you get the idea that that's going to be the basic motion. So then we've got this one. We're going to go ahead and we're making sure that that's there. Looks like it's not going through the window, which is great. We'll click and drag. We'll go to 10. And then, so let's see, how far over is that one? It's like there. So if at 10 we're at that angle, we're going to try and match the angle fairly closely to this. Oops, that's the wrong one. We want this one. So if we kind of come up above here, we can see that we're pretty close. Okay. So where it gets tricky is you're going to have 2 different wiper zones that you have to account for, and that's what it's going to look at when it does the wiper 1 and 2. And we'll look at that here in a minute. So it's a little bit more complex, but don't worry, it's going to be all right. Let's go ahead and rotate you like that. So yeah, we still have our angle, pretty much. Now, I mean, there's a big gap there, but we're not going to worry too terribly much about that right now. Again, you can fine-tune all of this stuff. Alright, so we'll go back underneath here and we'll see where we're at. So let's go to 2. Shift, click, and drag. Oh, that one's not in great shape either. Shift, click, and drag over there. Okay, so we've got, it looks like, the animations there. So, whoop, 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 whoop. Isn't that great? Cool. So now what we have to do, now that we've got the animation the way we want, first of all, I need to make sure that I've got, I actually need to put my model into mod dev because I have cleared that out recently, so let me go ahead and grab that really quickly. So I gotta go back in rFactor 2, installed, vehicles, SGS, 1964, I'm gonna grab the Ferrari. I know you can't see any of this, don't worry, I will be back at this in just a second here. There's some proprietary stuff going on here on the side. I don't want you to see the upcoming stuff. Please remember, we're on version 0.26 that we're developing here, and I'm going to do a change log for that. 0.26 is what we want. Alright, so if we go into the Porky, .26. Oops. 0.26, come on. I know, this is very uninteresting, but this is what I'm working. Alright, so that's gonna, I like to keep this. This is the first time since we've actually put it in here that this will be useful. I'm gonna pop this in over here. And I'm gonna go over here and oops. I took out, let's see, version. How did I name the other ones here? Ours. Wish Porky. Oh, I didn't even have a V, I just. There. Cool. Just making a note here that I'm going to send off to the other team members for some stuff. So let's see, I need to do some maps here. Teams. Bring you up. Whoop. Teams. Extract. Add a new folder. I'm gonna grab you and teams. Now I actually have the old wiper sync files in here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those. I think I just had those copying from a different source. We don't want those because we're going to make new ones. Put our maps in here, and then we get our main, and then we grab these, put them in there. We'll delete those mass files, and it's gravy. And then we do have some liveries here that I need to update real quick, so I'm going to do that while I'm in here. So the Ferrari 250, I'm going to extract this. Why do we have a mass file there? Why do we have a mass file? Okay. That's a bit odd. Alright, so we're going to go back into this new folder, pop these, not there. Where did my folder? There it is. This files. Okay, so so this is the number 25. Basically what I'm doing here, I know you can't see this, one of our guys updated the materials, and so I'm going to go ahead and copy everything down here, just a texture. And this is what your league managers have to do whenever they're doing this. So we're going to go over here to our other JSON folder. This is the one that you actually see. So notice all this is the same. We're going down to texture. It then has all this other stuff below here, which the real ones actually do have, but Marcel and the team have changed stuff over at Studio 397, so this doesn't show up when you actually open up your own custom-made JSON file from when you're doing alt liveries. You only see this stuff. So as League folk, we have to copy and paste that into ours in order to make it work properly, or it doesn't. So it looks, oh. So I'm not sure why he changed. So he's just updating the region files, as far as I know. 30 AM, 30 Pro seem to have both. Huh. So again, I just go down here. So this is the AM one. I know this is a little bit of a detour from our wiper side, but this is all part of making sure all the stuff loads in properly. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Kill you. Bye-bye. You go away. Don't need you anymore. And then we need the Pro version, so I'm going to pop that in there. And alright, so we want the 30 Pro. Where my texture's at. Boop. Save. And then they need number 31. This should be the last one. And down here to that one. You bastard. Pro 31. Alt 31. I don't see an Alt 31. I don't see a 31. I see a 31 AM. I guess that's it. Alright, let's just double check we've got this copy. I hope I did this right. Sorry, Matthew, if I didn't. Oops, too far. Okay, there. Boom. Done. Okay, so that should be everything with that. And then we can... Got a few more of these that I'm going to have to do in a bit. Alright, so yeah, so what we need to do is, now that I actually have those folders done, which I needed the folders lined up so that way I can actually copy the folder address, because what we're going to do is go over here and we're going to pop that in there, because I don't think that was updated properly from the last time. You can see that I'm using an old one here. This is going to be 250 GTO. This should just be like whatever you have for your part names to uniquely identify. This, you're going to go over here, you're going to grab your wiper object to export, and then this stays as wiper dot anim, A&M. We're using selected nodes to get that. So first we have to go up here. You want to have in your objects, when you have this selected, fixed bone names and collide and hat. I don't know if you need the hat in there and the collide, honestly. And then with all of those lit up, we're going to go down here, and now we're going to say do anim, and so it's going to do that, and it's going to pop our animation in there. Whenever you make a change, you need to export both. You can't just do one or the other, because otherwise, if you're making any changes to the angles and stuff, the animation path, you have to update both. It's just what you got to do. Sorry. I don't make the rules. I just double check and make sure nobody's asked anything on YouTube or and hello Sturm. Sorry if I missed your comment earlier. I didn't have my dashboard thing up here. Oh. So yeah. Anyway, so back over here. Back over to what's going on this side. Okay, good. There we go. So we've got our wipers done there. They've been exported. So now we need to go ahead and kick on. I'm going to start dev mode. But what I also need to do at the same time while that's working, don't fight me. I need to go over to my maps, and I need to open up my Windows template. And this is going to get kind of fun. Why is that? Oh, because I was still in Porsche. We need maps and Windows. And while that's loading up, I'm going to pop over here to the Ferrari. I'm just going to make sure these load. Okay, that paint job looks like it's pretty good. That also looks decent. It's a little bit more matte than I'd have probably liked, but it works. So this one works. Cool. Stunning. Alright, so now we go back over here. The hell was that? Excuse me. I'm not sure why this is being weird. Okay. Anyway. So this is our window guy here. I'm going to turn off the diffuse layer so that we can see it. I'm going to turn on the rain. Don't worry about that. That's the normal layer. So what we need to do first is have an idea of what we're doing. So to do that, we go back over here and we go and kind of look at that angle. So you want the angle that's going to give you the brightest shiny bit, so you want to be at a perpendicular angle to the window, which 45 is pretty dang close. This is not going to be an exact science. You could spend more time getting this to be exact, or you can spend that time making adjustments in Photoshop, which is the path I choose to take. Everyone has their own way of doing it, and that's totally fine. So what I do is I make sure I have my wiper selected, so that way it highlights there, and then I get zoomed in to the window as it's kind of straight on there, and then I do, oops, not that. I do a print screen and come back over here and boop, and then I adjust the angle. Boop. Then we go to 10. I guess I could probably. The more of these you have, I guess, you know, technically the the more differentiated it will be. So if I do overlay on these, then I merge. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. Close enough. So then I want to get this to be about the same size as this guy up here. So it matches up, you know, kind of about the same. Again, this does not have to be an exact science with the way that it works, because again, we're going to be making some of these adjustments manually. But, you know, feel free to do so as precisely or imprecisely as you like. Stop it. Okay. I generally try and get about the middle to be accurate. I want to try and get the top and bottom to be kind of close in there, so that way it's not too crazy out of whack. So if we go over here and so now I have actually one of these, or yeah, so you got rain here. I'm going to duplicate this, and we're going to start on the left side first, just because I say so. So the first one that I've got down here, so this is split up. You have a normal map, a diffuse map, and an alpha map. And normal gets the texture of the rain, like the actual bumpiness of it. The diffuse does the streaking, like the way that it looks. And then the alpha gets the, basically that determines how it clears. And you'll see how that works in a minute, because you basically define from full alpha to full opaque as like your 0 and 100% clearing positions. And you adjust them in there with the sync points that we'll put on there in a minute. So I have kind of done this so you actually have a few parts of this. So the first thing that I do is I'm going to take this is a vector-based item. It is a path or a shape, whatever you want to call it. And I get this lined up basically where the wiper is going to be. Again, I'm not overly concerned if it's exactly perfect, because the wiper is going to be moving so much. Most people don't really care or notice, as long as it clears that window. You can obviously spend a lot of time getting deep into detail on this, and you know, more power to you if you do. I'm not one of those, so I go over to the drops. So you basically have streaks and drops. That kind of creates your texture pattern there. And then I click on that path, I control enter, and that gives me my dashed lines. And then I delete layer mask, and I pop a new one on there. That's going to be crucial for later. I guess I don't need that anymore, so you can actually see what's going on here. And then I do the same thing for the alpha. And you can see that the effect of this here in a minute. I'm going to turn these bits off because we don't need those just yet. Those are just going to add texture later. I do that as a final step. I just try and make sure I get my pathing correct on this, or at least as close as possible. So we've got that done. And then what I'll do is I will turn off my, well, actually before I do anything crazy, I'm noticing that this right here, which is that one, I'm going to go ahead and untick that. So there are two things here. The first one being the streak. So as you can see, this is something, it's basically, I've done this before, so I took just to create this template. You can kind of see it in here. Like you get the streaky motion, and I've got it like on a 20% opacity. I may actually take that up a little bit to like 25. Drops are at 25, that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, so that creates that texture in there. And you can see that it basically is it's a big circle that just has had a radial blur, radial blur put on it, so that way it creates that cool streaky motion. And I just use that basically on everything, and it works out fine. And I just basically copy from one to the next, and then I just readjust the position, keeping the streak mask based off of your vectored object over here, and it works out great. So that works there. And then we got to do the same thing in our alpha, so we'll hide our diffuse. And you can see that we're chopping off there because this is a little bit out of position from where it was. So then this one, you can see it's got this effect on here, this gradient overlay, which is set at an angle, and it creates that sort of pattern where it starts at 100% and it goes to the other side, which is based off of whatever this gradient is. You can see I've tucked it in a little bit from the extremes to do that. So I basically just kind of drop it down here a little bit, and that mostly works fine. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to narrow this in a little bit more. So you can see this isn't perfectly aligned with everything that's going on here. You don't want it to be, because if it's like always at the max at either end, that can be problematic. I'm just going to look at something here real quick, because this happened before. And why don't I have my grid markers? Okay, good. All right, so don't worry about what I just did there. I was just checking a thing. All right, so I've got these guys lined up where they need to be. Let's turn on our diffuse again. And I'm going to save this on my desktop as a JPEG. And then I'm going to go over here and do this normal map. And this is a nice nifty little tool. You can use whatever you want. Let's see, that's my maps. This is my libraries. There we go. So I'm just going to drag that in here. Boom. Cool. Isn't that great? Isn't everything lovely? So you can adjust your parameters here, like have it as thick or not. These settings do a pretty good job. They're a little bit weaker than maybe I would have liked. But it works. It's mostly fine. You can kind of zoom in and oops. You can see that it makes it a bit bubbly there. And I mean, you can change a lot of different things here, like for how you do your filter. Yeah, if you want to use char, which has a little bit more aggressive adjustment to it, that's totally fine. You can blur or sharpen it. 2 and 7 seem to do a fine job. Click download, and it will pop it out. So we'll just go over here to that. Go to desktop, and let's sling this guy in here, make sure it's centered as it needs to be, and look, we have a normal map. I can get rid of this old one. Goodbye. Isn't that pretty? It's got all of our nice jangly bits. Alright, so there's that one. And we've got our diffuse and other things. So now what I need to do is, first of all, I'm going to save real quick because I haven't done that in a little bit. And then I'm going to hit C as soon as it's done saving. Hurry the hell up. Okay. And you can see I put that that guide on there, so that way I could just snap right to it with my crop. And then I'm going to Control Alt S. I'm sorry, not Control Alt S. Control Shift S, which is going to be different depending on which version of Photoshop you have, but you want to save as, so that way you can get in here. We're going to save this as a PNG, and I've conveniently put these all in here already, so they popped right in. So we want to start with normal map. The purple bits are normal here. It's going to ask to do that. That's fine. This default settings are fine. Then we're going to do the same thing with diffuse. PNG, diffuse. Yep. Yep. It's going to save this thing here. And we're going to do the same thing with the alpha. So all three. Isn't it pretty? And then I quickly Control Z so that way it undoes my cropping because I don't want to have that in there. I don't want it to be perma-cropped. And then I go over to my maps folder where these are saved, and I'm going to copy them into my teams folder, which you can't look at right now because I don't have it on the main screen. Where'd I go? There's my desktop, there's maps. Okay, so what the heck happened here? Yeah. Ferrari teams, there we go. Oop. Yep, I'm going to replace the files that were in there, and that's cool. Nope. Sorry, I lost my window over here, so I had to get it back. Alright, so those are in there now. So now we can go in here. We've got our car select. We're going to go ahead and hit race. Hope that nothing got broken, but if it did, we'll fix it. Sometimes with the bone names it'll freak out, but it looks like we've gotten those correct. Don't worry about those, it's because I don't have the mapping for the sound done properly. So it can't find the sound mass file. But I'm not worried about sound mass files right now, so, you know, whatever. Alright, so first I'll hit race. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Aha. It's not going to work. Oops, main menu. Because I forgot to enable those in the gen file. So we got to open up the gen file. And fortunately, I just remarked these out from the original one because they weren't working at the time. So you want to have it in the cockpit, and you want to have it in the wiper instance. Those are the only two instances you want the animation, wiper anim. So now with that done, we can open it back up. And it's not going to tell you that's wrong unless you actually don't have a wiper animation instance. It won't say anything to you. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm burping up a whole lot here. Alright, so now we hit race and this should work. Okay, yeah, that's not right. Oh, and you know why? Because I'm an idiot. And I forgot. No, don't do that. But I guess this is a good example of to show you why you need to do some stuff. Or wait, I did do this. What am I thinking? So if we've got root. And come on. Edit envelopes. And we gotta go root. And there it is, that one. That one's 0.01. That one's 0.01. So why? I'm not sure why that one took off into the air. But you know what? I did not select this. So it probably, at least I don't remember selecting it. Maybe I did. Alright, let's try this again. I'm always hesitant to use that move tag because it hard codes it into the GMT, even if you don't have that tag on the GMT itself in the gen file. Because it'll do some funky things, which we may see. Yeah, see, it does some funky things. Alright, so let's take that move off. And then we'll do the mesh. Mesh is done. Actually, let's do it again so we're not starting there. I don't think that should make a difference since it captures the whole animation. I don't trust rFactor 2 though. Oh, you know what it was? I remember now. It was the transams. The old historic transams. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at what that did. So let's go ahead and go back over here. Let's see, which transams were those? These are the historic transams, by the way, that I'm going to be looking at. Let's look at pics. Yeah, so they all had it. So if I go in here and I look at the mods, and we know the Mustang has this in here, so I'm going to pull up the old Ford Mustang. Tis a fine beverage, that. Oh, yeah, remove all, whatever, I don't care. Get out of here. Alright. So the wiper, yeah, it's just one object, and yeah, Bono 1, Bono 2. So I don't understand. Unfortunately, uses the longest frickin' name in the world. Alright, so we're editing envelopes. So apparently this is whatever this one is on the right here. Maybe? No, I'm sorry. This one on the right. Alright, so I believe Alright, so we've got that one there. And 0.99, yeah, so 0.01 should be down there on that one. And I'm not sure why it's saying no. So this is bone 1. Alright, so we've got that there. .01. Alright, so it's anchored there off of the root bone, and the rest of it is as it should be. So this is exactly how I have it on the Ferrari. So I'm very confused as to why it's not working properly. So just looking at the animation side, we've got the Ford Mustang 302 wiper. You can see that it's all right there in selected nodes. This is the wiper, keyframes, 0 to 20. So that makes sense. I mean, it's exactly what I thought it should be. I'm just confused as to why it's not working. So if we go back over here, we can see we have these set here, root, and then Bono 1, Bono 2. Yeah, I mean, let's just double check. So we do have, yeah, we have a keyframe there. Yeah, 0.01. Check the weight table here. 0.01. I don't see any goofy values in there. It's just very, very perplexing. I have to admit, I'm not really sure why this is doing what it's doing. So on a hunch, let's just try this. Maybe it's doing something goofy that we don't know about. So got the wiper, and we're going to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and do this. Yep. And we're going to uncheck fix bone names. And we're going to say do animation. Now I feel like when I've done this before, it's hit an error. When you do one where it's fixed bone names and the other one does not have it. Yep, there we go. Could not be found. And I think that's because it finds, yeah, there's something with the naming convention. It doesn't like it. And this is going to die on me. Yep. Lovely. No. Alright, so I have to open it back up again because rFactor 2 is just very lovely. Does a great job. a really fantastic job. So let's not fix bone names. Let's go back over here. So this one is unchecked. Oops. It's not going to like that. We're going to do this, and it's going to do that, and then we're going to go like this. And we're just going to see what happens when we do it this way. Just going to go ahead and kill this already. Alright, no errors on the bones, so that's good. There we go. Okay, so there is something with the bone names that it just does not like. And typically I've had to do that for, you know, any of the parts where it... Oh, there are little wipers on the bottom part. That's crazy. That is hilarious. I wonder if that was on the real car. I'll have to research that. For now, though, I'm not going to worry too much about that because this is fine. All right, so now what we need to do is, so we have our first one. I actually need to go back here. So remember, we made 2 of these. So this is rain. Just say 1, rain 2. So now we're going to do the exact same thing that we did above, but it's going to be for the other wiper. So we're going to hide those. And then we're going to, by the way, those build-up files that you see there, those came from Studio 397. So you can just download those from the wiper. I suppose if you really wanted this template, I could probably hook you up. Oh, come on. Yeah. I mean, I did spend an awful lot of time working on it. I don't know if I want to give away all my secrets. Oops. These angles here. Should be about even. I'm actually going to even add one over here because this isn't quite how I would like to see it. Note that, come on. Sometimes these arcs and stuff aren't going to be quite perfect. It's just life, man. You just gotta deal with it. Layer mask, we'll put that on there. Hide you. Eee, it's pretty ugly. I don't like that. Okay. Sorry, just making some fine adjustments here that I didn't notice in the first pass. So I'm just gonna deal with those now. Okay, and you're like that. So first we're gonna adjust the. You can see that those need to be brought in a little bit more, like that, to make good streaky bits. And hide the diffuse. And Okay, alright, so that's all lined up. We'll go back over here, diffuse, JPEG, get that thing going. So now we got our JPEG. And grab this. Nope. I need that 3D. So if we go over here to our, what am I doing? So much more convoluted when you've got extra wipers. So we'll pop over into our maps. So I actually need to do wiper, I think I need to do wiper 0 and 1. Alright, so I've got 0, and now I'm going to have to actually copy these. I won't do that yet. What am I doing? I need my desktop here. Okay. Forgive me for kind of sidetracking myself here. So we're going to go ahead and download this. And just pop my normal map in a bad spot. There we go. Okay. This is probably not a great shape, just looking at it here, but you know, depending on the warping distortion of your windshield, let's control 0 so that way we can get right on top of it. There we go. And then we're going to go to PNG. So here's where it's a little bit different from normal. So we've got our normal, and I actually want to go 1. I think you all could probably follow along with that. PNG, and then we're going to do, this is the diffuse layer, we want this to be 1. And then PNG, and then we want the alpha to be 1. And it's going to do its thing, Control V to go back. And then we're going to go into our maps, and we're going to grab all these lovely new PNGs that happen, and we're going to pop them right over here into our Ferrari Teams folder. We're going to replace the ones that are there. Let's add the new ones, and then we're going to come back in here, and we're going to see how we did. I'll just double check what you all have said, if anything. Yes, Stefani, you are correct. A lot of people do not see all the bits behind the scenes, and some of this stuff, I mean, just one of these things can drive people nuts. It drove me nuts. It's taken a long time to even just figure out some of the nuances, and as you can see, I still run into problems just because, you know, there are the little tag things, just single little edits that have profound effects on whatever you're doing. I'm just going to double check. Yep, that works great. And just going to go to my rain session here so I can actually see the rain. Okay, there it is on. So you can see that I've got the maps there. They're mostly in the spot where we want them to be. So if they weren't, you'd want to go back to your PSD and adjust them from there. These actually look like they're pretty good, so I'm going to leave them for right now. I might tweak them a little bit later. But yeah, I'm just going to go with this for the moment. And so we want to look at the weather effects menu. I know there's a lot of stuff here, don't worry. We're just going to be over here on the wiper side. First I'm going to turn these wipers off. I'm going to turn manual wiper on. And so these are the default ones that come with the wiper sync point. So we've got wiper 0, wiper 1. So these are going to correlate to those numbers that we had on the PNG files we just made. Very convenient, right? So wiper percentage, I like to actually add 2 more here, so I'm going to go to 50, and I'm going to add a wiper sync point here, and to wiper 1. Unfortunately, pops back up there. And then I also go to 150, and again, this is just basically to kind of dial it in. You don't have to do this. I like to because it helps me refine the sort of middle points just a bit more. Okay, so we're going to grab here, and you can see like it's got this little radius thing. This is kind of not the greatest thing to work with, but it's fine, whatever. All right, so 0 is that, and then as we start to wipe away, we get to 50. So we want 50, right, to be, so this is the one that's on the right there. We want it to be kind of about where the wiper is. I know the menu's a little bit in the way. Now, it is a little bit janked because of the angle of that bit there, but we can do the same thing here. We can say 30. You can see a little bit better on that side. We're just going to do that. So 45, 32, they're a little bit offset from each other, but that's okay. Now keep in mind, so we go to 0. So now I'm only going to go to 25% here, because I need to set this 0 to be what it is. So the reason it's like this is because our alpha isn't 100% on either side, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. It's cool if you can get it so that way it's more refined. I'm not as worried about it. Alright, so we'll go back here, and then we go over to 100%. So 100% is at 1, which we don't want it to be. So actually, let's come back to 75, so that way you can kind of see what's going on here. Might be 15. Let's try the same thing over here. So basically, it's going to the other extreme. So let's go back to 0 here, and it's like, oh, hey, we're clearing the way. And as we come back, so 150, it's going to be about 32, and then for this one, it's going to be about 45. Seems like it's actually a little bit more. We can probably just kind of clicking this down so that way oh, it's too much. You can see it disappearing on this left side here. So 44, that's fine. And then we're going to make this one 83 because that's probably where it needs to be. And this one's probably going to be 63. You can see that these are arced points in here. Come on, there we go. Jeez. So go back to 0, and then oh, dang it. I accidentally got into the circle. Alright, so apparently I had this a little bit too low, so we'll take this back up to 93. Take this one to 92. I kind of explained why it was a little weird before. Alright, so let's try S again. So I'm just checking here. So it seems to be getting away. Once we're past 150, so 150, I mean, it's kind of close, but so there's a little bit of a discrepancy in here. So like, let's go to about 175. Now I don't always do this, but if there's that big of a gap in here, I will. It looks like there's kind of a big one in here. So at 175, we're going to crank you up. Oops. And this just kind of refines it a little bit, so that way it gets it roughly where it needs to be. And then before we're done, we have to make sure we save wiper sync points, and what that does is it writes those files. And oh, sorry, Stefani, I just saw your note there. And yes, yes, getting back to the rev lights on the Porsche 963, there will be a revisit on that. They were working fine before, so I'm not sure what happened during the process of going from 2023 to 2024, but apparently that was wiped out because we had gone through that before. So we'll go ahead and do this. So it's not too bad, right? And you can always, you can refine this stuff, make it better. If we, it's good to always check the outside too, make sure that that's doing what it needs to. Now the lighting, unfortunately, this area isn't that great. Because I got all this weird lighting here, and the graphics on my computer that I have right here are not the best. So it's not activating the lighting the way that it probably should. If this were during the day, it would probably look a lot better. But from what I can tell, this seems like it should be fine. We're gonna come back to this anyway, so let's do that. So all right, so the Toyota's AI BOP. They're all gonna get AI BOP. None of the AI have been touched for 2024 because the physics are still kind of getting tweaking. We added quite a few new cars, particularly in hypercar, and since we had completely new tires applied to everything, it's made a fairly big change to the way the cars perform. So we already knew coming out of 2023 there were a few adjustments we had to make. So we did those, and then we added the tires, and then we had to redo all the BOP outside of that. So all those things together, we now need to test to make sure that they work properly. So we need to go through some of the next races within Champion Motorsports, get more large form data feedback where we're just looking at like a bunch of different stats, the way the cars perform, the way that we have driver stratification and everything. Listen to feedback, look at fringe cases and all that stuff, and then refine it even more. So once we get through a lot of that process, we'll feel a lot more comfortable about where the BOP is. There at that point the refinements would be so small. You're talking like, nths of a degree for any kind of change with like, fuel mileage or power or something like that. So you could realistically adjust the AI and you would barely see those things get affected with any of those types of updates. I mean, it would be minor. They would come through, but you wouldn't have to worry about like completely redoing the AI at that point. So that's why we kind of have to wait on it a little bit. But I promise it will be done. It is something that is on the list. It's on a very, very large task list. We actually have a few people who do the delivery work that get into that stuff, and they do a good job. It looks good and everything. Going back to this here real quick, so we talked about how you've got these little bits here that came from the original studio stuff. So these just kind of add a little bit more texture to the edges of the mapping. Put my anchor point down there, and then I can just kind of rotate this down and kind of bring it in a little bit. That's pretty good. So I have to take this, make a JPEG, because I have to make a new normal map with this. And the reason I don't do that in the beginning is because I may end up spending a lot of time refining stuff, so I'd have to go right back in and one second here. Just wanted to make sure that was in text there on both sides. So anyway, I've got this guy. Where's my download? And then now I don't know why Photoshop does this, but it brings it in where it's not centered. It ticks me off. Alright, so we got to remember that this is number 2, or I guess 1 you could say, since we're starting on 0. 0 is sequential. Alright, so this is 1. This is our normal map 1. This can get kind of annoying when you deal with more than one wiper. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. No, I don't want to delete that actually because I'm going to undo it. So I'll do that in a second. Yeah, don't do additional work if you're going to undo that same work. Okay, and then we're going to do PNG for the alpha 1. Okay, and then we're going to do that. Now I can delete this, and now I can go back. I'm actually going to call this rain 0, so that way I know right where I am. And so then we need to do the same thing over here. I know this seems like a lot of extra work. This actually isn't that big a deal when you're dealing with only one wiper. Fortunately, we're dealing with more than one wiper. Oops. Pop you down there. Bring you in. Okay. Oop. Come on, don't do that. Okay. So we've got this here, and then we're going to download. And then, yep, 1024, 1024. And then we're going to go ahead and PNG. And this is 0. Again, it doesn't matter which order you do these in. Oh shit. Oh, sorry kids. I forgot to do my job here. Alright, PNG, and then we're going to go normal. And then diffuse. Diffuse 0. Yep, there we go. Pray that I didn't do something stupid and accidentally click on the wrong ones when I do these. Fingers crossed. PNG is going to be the alpha. 0. Done. Cool. Boom. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save. And oh, come on, where'd you go? There you are. Okay, I've got all of my files copied, and then I'm going to go into my Teams folder, paste those in there, and we're just going to double check it in here. And while that's loading up, I'll go ahead and check the stream to see if anyone said anything there. You're welcome, stream. It's funny because this is going to Twitch at the same time as it's going to YouTube, and I'm responding back, and it's going to both places. So I guess I could uncheck that so it doesn't do that, but it's a lot of work. Come on. Come on. Okay, so we go over here, and you can kind of see it. It's a little bit low. And some of it gets wiped out here by this one, but yeah. Not the best example, unfortunately, for that part, but you get the idea, and we'll look at it again on the other one. But this actually does a pretty nice job of clearing the windows, and I know that our Ferrari drivers are going to appreciate it when they're driving, because obviously, you know, like that rain can really build up as it's splattering against the windshield. I mean, like, you try and look out some of the sides and stuff here, it does get rather sloppy. So anyway, so that's a Ferrari done, and we can go over here and grab this. I'm going to go ahead and incorporate this all into an update that I'm going to send to the rest of my team. But I will bring up the next car real quick, which I believe should only have one. I hope and pray. Corvette Stingray. Oh, I do want to save my progress here. So this is saving. Come on, come on, come on. Go ahead and close this down. Now if that's all saved, we'll close that one down. And I don't think the Corvette Stingray is 2, but it probably is because, you know, that's my life. I guess while that's loading up, I'll at least get this thing over in this other folder. Sorry if the stream takes a little bit of a dump because, yeah, we'll go ahead and remove that. And survey says that looks like it's going to be 2 wipers. Let's go ahead and cover, undo all that. Let's look at our window out and our wipers. Oh, even worse. It's that type of wiper where it goes in opposite directions. My life. Alright, well, might as well not complain about it, right? So before I get into that, I gotta grab the most recent one, pop it into mod dev, so that way it's in there. And SGS Corvette Stingray. And this is going to be version 0.28, 0.28. So I'm just doing a little folder management over on the side here for anybody who cares or is paying attention. So extract to my folders. How long is it going to take to do this? Now I am going to have to close down rFactor 2 because as I add a new car, it needs it to be loaded. It needs to close in order to load the next car, so that's why we're doing that. And I'm waiting for this to upload. Maybe. Where are you at? Am I just blind? There it is. Alright, it's up to date. So I got my Ferrari. Okay. So there's my Ferrari. Alright, so now I need to get rid of all these normal maps that I've made it on my desktop. Made on? Yeah, anyway, whatever the words are. Okay, so, oh, looks like I've got some wiper sync points in here again, too. So we'll just go ahead and delete those. I need to double check my maps. Okay, cool. I got this. I like Starcadian, New Sidonia. Very relaxing. Especially when rFactor 2 makes you want to destroy things. Launch a nuke, that kind of thing. Sometimes it does make you feel like that. Teams. Alright, teams are in there. We need maps. Extract. Alright, we got maps popped in there. We need the main, boom, boom, all of our physics files and stuff. Popped in there. Delete those mass files for teams, main, and maps. And that's all good. I need to pop back over to my Stingray. Actually, I need to copy this. Which version did I say we were on? 0.27, something like that. I'm gonna have to go look. Let's see. So we've got Corvette Stingray 0.27. Yeah, 0.28 is where we're going to be at now. 0.28 C2. Let's see. Corvette Stingray C2. So we're in 0.28. It's going to be more of the same. I don't really see anything changing with this. Although I do have my liveries I need to update. Let's go ahead and grab those real quick. Bloop. Little house cleaning that's required, unfortunately. Alright. So we come down here, we'll grab that. Teams. So which number is this? This is number 2. So we'll pop this up. And we'll go to just above texture. We'll save that. QU. Delete. Oh god. I hate it when it doesn't flop between windows properly. Alright, so which number is this? 4. Pop up the 4 JSON. Where you at? Textures, there we go. Boop, boop. And oops, I didn't need to do that. So this is number 9. 9am. And then, oh, come on, don't be like this. Oh, come on. And a region, pop that in there. And then we'll grab our JSON here. And boop, boop, boop. And which number is that? 19. And we'll pop you there. And put you in there. And goodbye. Okay, so that does that for those liveries. Nice and updated. We'll do a quick check on those when we pop back in there. But before we do, we've got some work to do here. So again, I like to come above. Come on. Control Z. No, Control Y. What are my buttons here? Z, just Z. Plain old Z. Alright, so we go to Create, Systems, Bones, click, right click, delete. And I'm just going to go ahead and while I'm here, 0, 0, 0, and select our rotating tool. Why are we not selecting our rotating tool? Thank you very little. Alright, that's where it needs to be. And then we'll go back over here, Systems, Bones, and then click, right click, click, what? Click, left click, right click, delete. Alright, so we got our bones, no bones about it. W, so I can move these up here. Get these right in the middle. And we'll go ahead and doesn't look like we're quite where we need to be. We want it to be there. Let awake. Need to be rotating. Now, this does not have to be exact, although the closer it is towards what it should be, the more natural looking the motion is going to be. So like I said, you don't have to be like dead on, but getting it relatively accurate will pay dividends. Alright, so those are where they need to be. I'm just going to copy the name here. So this is wiper root. This is going to be bone 01. And this is going to be bone 02. And then we're going to just grab those and hate when it does that. You go to click and drag and it's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and just swing these down the order. Anyway, alright, so that's where they need to be. Wiper, we need to go ahead and add our skin. I like your skin. Sorry, Stefani, I know I'm lagging behind a little bit. I'm just kind of digging into the one screen. So the old UI is for mod dev only. If you were to pop it into the current, like the modern build, it will pull up whatever UI you have there, which should be the current one. Mod dev, for whatever reason, they didn't update it. You might be able to do stuff to update it using plugins or whatever, but on the random off chance they decide to update mod dev, it'll probably break everything, so why bother? There we go. Sorry, just doing a little quick update there. So we got these. Let's edit. Oh, we need to add our bones before we can edit any envelopes, right? So select those in there, and then we're going to say edit our envelopes and make the vertices. So we're going to go ahead and select all these. For consistency's sake, I'm just going to make bone 1 over here on the passenger side. Now, if you wanted to, I think you can select elements. You can, hurrah. Alright, so absolute is 1. Are we on? Yeah, we're on bone 1. So we're calling this one. Wait, shoot, I did this the wrong way. That's alright, we can quickly change that. So we'll say 1. And then we'll invert this. So I'm kind of going the other direction. So bone 2. I guess I did kind of make this one 1 and this one 2. So it's okay. By the way, Control I does the inverse of whatever you have selected. So it should be everything else that I didn't have there. And it should be good. Alright, so those absolute effects are good. And then we need to make sure we grab our root. And then we need to grab at least one vertice from each. Come on, don't select my element. We'll select that one. And then we'll select that one. That should be fine. It doesn't matter exactly which one it is. It's just whatever's facing away from the camera should be fine. And then we'll do absolute effect is 0.01. And then that should make it great. Bone 01, you're up first. So again, we set our auto key and we're gonna bloop. And I'm gonna go ahead and hide these so that way they're not in the way. And then we're going to rotate this up to where it needs to be. And you can see what happens if we, do one of these here. I'll just kind of come on this side just to see where we're at here. Oops. I need to go back over here because I'm on bone 1 and I forgot to update the thing here. So first of all, let's go ahead and get you off the window. And then we're going to shift click over there. Now there is this whole thing about you should have that on 19 instead because it'll kind of do this weird skip frame and whatever. It's fine. It doesn't create that big of a stink. You're fine to. I'm not even going to get into it because it's so inconsequential. We're just going to do that. Alright, so now we can go and do this. And alright. Kind of up right here. I'm going, yeah, I'm just starting to go through. Alright. So that one's like that, and then it should go back. So we'll go to 5. How much are we sticking through? Oops. Oops. So that's where we want on that one. That's probably good enough there. Let's come back. See how badly we're going through. That's fine there. We're just kind of go over here, throw that on 17. 5 can come over to 15. Alright, so this probably needs to pop out a little bit there. Alright. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Alright, so if we play this, yeah, it's good enough. Alright, so we go to the other one, bone 2, and pop that guy on there. We'll pop, first of all, let's make sure we're not poking through, because we are, because modelers don't always care about that. And we'll pop that over there, and then we'll go to 10, and we'll make sure that, whoop, it's a little bit goofy, like that, and then we want to rotate you out, like so, because that's kind of what it's doing. It's got some seriously crazy clearage. This does not have to be perfect because you're not going to notice it as well. It's not like you're sitting in the passenger seat. We do want this to kind of get a little bit closer to the window. It's not totally off. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we go to 5, and then we're going to make sure that you are not. Yep. And then set you at 15. We'll go to 2. Yep. And I'll spread you to 18. So now it looks like it's going through back there, back here, but it's technically not. It's just very close, and Max doesn't know how to deal with that. So let's come back here. So this I don't quite like. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move you here. Wondering if Max already did the tweening and that's why it kind of does that weird jankiness. I mean, it is GM, so I mean, it's probably a little bit weird. Not very robust. Seems good enough to me. So let's go ahead and go over here. And we're going to go to GMT, and we're not going to fix bone names. We're just not even going to mess with that, but we are going to export it. I do need to grab the yep, and go down here and set the new animation path so that way it's properly done. Corvette 64, and then pick you and pick you. Always do the wiper, never do any of the root nodes or any of that stuff. It will just lead to chaos. Just the wiper object itself. Alright, so those done, I need to go over to my gen file. Just the main gen, don't have to worry about the spinner because there are no animations in the spinner. Or at least we don't have them going as such. I suppose you could add those as necessary, but we're not going to do that. So there we go there. And we should be able to fire this up while we're working on our Windows project. So If I go back into my maps here, I've got my Windows template, so that's going to fire up while we're loading up rFactor 2 again. Alright, so we've got the our wire in here. Excellent. Let's pop up in the rain. Nice, all rFactor 2 is now got its stuff going up in the background. So what we need to do is, 45 is pretty good. Like when you click just on the corner of your center view box, whatever you want to call it, does a pretty good job. Let's go ahead and hide those, and we'll get that in as close as we can, and we'll do print screen, and we'll go ahead and bloop, and print screen, print screen. You can probably get away with 3. I'm just doing 4 because, you know, why not? So we're going to go ahead and do, where's your stuff? Oh, yeah, all right, here we go, overlay. And then we're going to say merge. And then we'll get rid of this old one. Just don't need that anymore. And we'll go ahead and this should probably be maybe just a little bit. Something or other. Just, come on, don't be like that, Photoshop. In all the years, it still gets stupid. Alright, so that's pretty much close enough. So we're going to call this one rain 0. And we're going to go rain 1. So we'll start with rain 0, which that one's going to be on the right hand side, just for the sake of keeping things simple. So we'll grab this one here, and oops, don't want to do that. Come on, just get the point. Put that one there, and then we'll put that one up here somewhere. Sure. We'll plop you here, and I think that's a point there. Great. And then if we zoom out, so as you can see, this kind of goes a little bit up here. We'll just try and kind of do something with it like that. So we'll kill that. So we'll copy that, we'll paste it there, we'll delete this one, we'll get rid of the wiper effects. We'll do this, we'll delete this one, make that 25 so it shows up a little bit more. Now this one, obviously it's gonna, oops, grab the wrong one, put kind of the center point there. And we'll do the same thing on that. Grab that one, delete that one, put that one there. And if we, oops, turn off the diffuse, we can see where this one is. We'll go ahead and try and get that as close to the edge as possible. So that works there, or at least it should. And go ahead and cover that up. JPEG save this guy. I like to just work on one at a time so that way things don't get too confusing or anything like that. And we'll throw this into our PNG maker, or sorry, our normal thing, whatever you call it, normal map generator. So that way we have our normal map. And then, once again, we don't have our nice, lovely deal like that. So we'll go PNG, and then we'll do wiper, normal. I guess we're in reverse order from before, or maybe, I don't know. Normal map is generated, and then we do the diffuse one now. PNG, diffuse. It's gonna save. Wait for it to save. Come on, don't be a jerk. And then we'll go PNG, and we'll go to our alpha. And Control Z, so we get all of our stuff back. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do the other rain map first, since I got to do all this again. Come on. I said A. Put that there. Actually, no, not there. We want to put it over there. And then we're going to pick that one and put it right there. Kind of do one of these, so that should line up with that. And then put you up here. And then put you right, yeah. Oops, I didn't want to go that route yet. Copy, paste, delete, hide you, Control Enter, delete the old mask, put the new one in, Control Enter. Make sure I didn't accidentally do something here. Kind of accidentally crushed my arrow keys. Anyway, so there's that one, and we'll go ahead and hide you, and then we're going to come over and look at you. Stop. Stop. Oh my lord, what are you doing? Oh, it's because I had the wrong thing. So that follows that curve pretty well there. So we'll take off diffuse. We'll look at this one now. My goodness. Let's go in here and look at this. That's a little bit too far off. And you can see that it's a little bit more towards the inside than the outside. Can fix some of that by bringing it down. It's not as extreme. It does limit a little bit of your range, but because this is moving so fast, as you saw before, it doesn't really make a huge difference. So we'll pop on the diffuse, Control Shift S. We'll get our JPEG in there, so that way we can just fire that over to this side. Download our files. Way off. Okay, get rid of view, and then save this as a PNG. So this is our normal one. And then this will be our normal 2. I'm sorry, our diffuse 2. Since we're doing, not 2. Ugh. Whatever, I'll just change the name of it while I'm in here. Should have been 1. So I just went over there and changed that. And now we have our alpha 1. Where's my PNG? There it is. So alpha. And we're going to make this 1. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of that stuff. Where my PNG's at? There they are. Okay, so we go over to Teams. Drop those puppies in. And now we can go in and go, come on. It's going to take a second. I forgot to look at the showroom just to make sure that the new livery files, whatever, were dropped in properly. It's alright. Main focus here is, whoops, helps if I actually select the right car, right? I guess I can go ahead and look at the showroom just to make sure that I didn't accidentally like wipe something out. Yeah, look at those puppies. Nobody wants to take the Stingray. It's just an absolute shame. It's a gorgeous car. At least the modeling is. The texture work. And it still has a ways to go. But, yeah, that all looks fairly where it's supposed to. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit the track. So we updated the gen file. Animations and stuff should work. Assuming our export process went properly. Shouldn't hit any issues, don't seem to be any. There we go. Now we're cooking with butter. Hey, look at that. Isn't that cool? Okay, so let's go ahead and run to our night session that's got rain programmed in. Okay. So, again, we come over here to our weather. Nope. Get out of here. Weather. And turn the wipers off and go to manual wiper on. And then I like to add my 50% or whatever position we have here. Excuse me. And then also do this over here on 150. Okay, for both. Okay, and so now oops, too far. Okay, so it looks like 54. And let's go ahead and, since we're on 150 right now, can't really tell where it is. Somewhere around there. Yeah, it looks about right. 71. Okay. Man, that car is going way too fast for the wet. Why do you keep missing the number? There we go. Alright, so we'll just drop this back down to 0. And so when we're up to, so that's at 25, and it looks like we got 81, and then 57. Let's just see if that works here. I might be doing this wrong, not gonna lie. Oh my god. Okay, come on. There we go. Alright, so let's go back to 0, and we've got some clearing happening. Some clearing is happening. So at 100, looks like 43, and then 84. So it's kind of going the opposite direction here. And that kind of makes sense given that it's I'll say wiper saying I feel like something's off, but I'm not sure what. It's weird when they go in the opposite direction from one another. Oops. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be clearing anyway. Light up those tires. Ah, doesn't seem to be wanting to clear that area in the middle, so let's keep the manual wiper on. And we'll go to Okay, and then we need to, that's alright, I saved my wipers. So then we want to go into, not that, but we want to go into this, and then we're going to, let's go back to our rain 1. Oh, the music stopped. It's kind of sad. Alright, so, come on. Yeah. So, rain 0, let's go here. Pop these bad boys on. Whoop. Alright, so we've got our first one on there. Grab this one, swing it up. I'll just make sure that it's mostly aligned there. So there's that. And then we'll go over to the normal map. I should go to full. And we'll say download. And come on, don't be like this. So there's that. And then we'll go ahead and pop. And PNG. And so this is 0, if you remember. So 0 gets this normal like that. Remember, we don't have to do the alpha. In fact, that would screw everything else up if we change that for any reason at this point. Alright, so there's 0. And then we'll go, okay, stop it. Okay, and then what are we doing? Stop. Never pressed the C button, but apparently it likes the C button for some reason. Okay, good enough. Then we'll do our JPEG here. Pop you on, desktop. And then we'll download. Get rid of you. Crop. And then we'll save this as PNG. And we'll go normal 1. And we'll go PNG. And we'll go diffuse 1. And Control Z. And that should be everything that we had hoped and desired. Okay, and then we'll pop this over into our, it's been quite slow today for some reason. Very annoyed by that. So we'll just quickly check to make sure that it loads in properly. We didn't like accidentally kill a file or something. Always check your work. I know it is tempting to just throw it in there, move on, not care. But you definitely do want to check and ensure that everything looks the way that it should. And that you don't have any errors, because too many times you might change one thing, not realize that you've updated a file name or something like that. You know, something will be off. And then you got to deal with it. Alright, so that appears to be working properly. Again, though, it's not... Okay, there it is. I see why, because it's not actually seeing quite that far to the edge. That's why. No problem. I'm not going to worry about updating that right at this particular moment. We can make those tweaks a little bit later, just because there are so many of these to get through. So we'll go, what's the next one? Oh, it's the Alpine. So we'll go ahead and save this. And we're just going to do a quick little upload here. And it's still uploading. How much time do we have left on this guy? 44 seconds. So this is saved. We're going to go ahead and close it. We are going to open up the 3D on this one, on the Alpine. Very lovely 3D file. And then in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and grab that other installed Alpine. So that way we've got that all taken care of. We're on 0.49 for those playing along at home. Sorry, again, just doing a little bit of file maintenance over on the side. Okay. And just pop this into here. Strong. So close that down, remove all, doesn't matter. Oh look, another twin coverage. Ugh. Boy, I should have done the other ones first. All this extra work. Okay, so got a small thing to do here. Let's check our upload is done. I just have to do that on the side. Copy Dropbox link. Okay, so that one's done, and then we're going to go to the Alpine. We got the Alpine open. I'm going to save the C2's windows. Now at least the Alpine is not inverted, or like the layered windows. Like this is more like the GTO. These are normal doubled wipers. So if we go to the maps and we go to the type Windows template, we'll fire that up while that one's pulling up. Kind of go from above, we'll select all these, close them down, and then we're going to look at the Windows out and the wiper. So there we are. Alright, create systems, bones. And we're going to delete that. And boop, 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 boop. Click on this. 0, 0, 0. No. Make it 90. Make sure you're all copacetic. And pull you guys up to there. Let's see. That looks about right. Okay. Not sure why it's not showing double side. I think that's just a max setting that I have. Or there's something with this particular model where it's set to not show double-sided. Not a huge deal right now. I could just turn on the Windows N and it's fine. Alright, so we're going to take that and we're going to call this wiper root. Bone 01. Bone 02. And all that's done. Going to go to the wiper, add our skin. Oh, we have a mesh smooth. I didn't like that. Let's add the skin. And we're going to make sure we grab our bones. Pop those in here, edit envelopes, turn those off, add our vertices. And gonna make sure that we have all of these selected. And which one are we on here? We're gonna go to bone 1. Come on, don't be a stoop. Absolute effect is set to that. We're going to actually boop. Invert that. We'll go to the other bone. We'll make that 1. Now we'll go to the root. And we can just select that little guy right there in the middle. And that little guy right there in the middle. And make those 0.1, and it's great. So now we're going to hide these. And we're going to go to bone 1. Going to set our auto key, and looking at the bottom, we don't show anything poking through. Is that true? I guess we have the other side showing up there. So let's go ahead and turn on our edged faces. Yes, okay, so we do have a little bit of poke through. We'll start with bone over here. And we'll just kind of lift that out a little bit. And we'll come up on this side and swing that on through. Kind of get a sense of where you're coming down on the window. Cool. Alright, so that one's there. And we'll kind of go back over here and lift you up out of poverty. Whatever that means. And shift click, run that over. Isn't that lovely? Except we are getting massive crush through here. So it's, or I'm sorry, 18, 13. What am I smoking? Okay, so that wiper looks good. Then we'll go over to this one here, and we will set it up a little bit and put that on there. Shift click over there, go to 10, and go just right there. That should be fine. No. Now, in general, you want this to be as close to matching up as you can make it. But again, we're not going to get too worried about it. It's a French car anyway, it's probably all over the place. Whoop. There we go, we got that one. Okay. All right. That's pretty good. Got those wipers billowing now. Okay. Now don't be that way. Send it into the frickin' stratosphere. Okay, if we pick the wiper, do a screen print. And we got the rain. I don't care for the rain wire because in this case it's not different. The only reason why I had a different one there is because I actually had them as different ones, but since doing this, it hasn't really been necessary, to be honest with you. Why are we not? I hit the insert. Hate when I do that. Alright, so there's that. Grab these layers, make them overlay, merge. Oh, I haven't checked our stream here. We got any? Alright, good. No new conversations have popped up. Not that I don't mind talking to you guys, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. You know, like Steven Taylor. Don't want to miss a thing. Yeah, it's okay. Good old modding. Yep, whatever. Just kill yourself, Photoshop. Don't even. So I have a little bit of a banner issue. We're on the outside here. That's alright. We'll just kind of squeeze her in there. It's curled back from what we're seeing on the just projection side of things. So this is going to get a little bit more awkward. Might require a little extra fiddling, unfortunately. Oh yeah, come on, just... Alright, so we got rain, and we're going to call 0, and then we're going to do boop, and call this rain 1. Rain 0. Let's go ahead and get you all taken care of. Coming down here. No. No, come on, don't be this. Stop it. Yeah, like I said, this is going to get a little bit on the janky side. We'll just have to see how it works out. Alright. So grab this, same old, delete, click on one of the other ones, Control Enter, pop the new one on, go ahead and hide this. I see, this is one of the ones with the thing. Alright, so this one I did have some issues with the brush apparently. So I had to cover that up. Okay, that one's good. And then we'll go take care of the diffuse. Oh boy, that one's way out of whack. Okay. Get the template going. And we'll do the normal map. And download. Ugh. Get our PNGs done here. Alright, so this is 0. We got the 0 normal. It's a good band name. 0 normal. I don't know, maybe it sucks. Man, my other computer would not take this junk. Come on. And we're going to go alpha. Open these guys up. Gonna open up those libel laws. Okay, and I am a bit on a time crunch. Actually, let me double check what the... I might have to end the stream here in a second. Actually, yeah, so I'm gonna have to quickly finish this one up and call it for the stream. So, speed time. All right, let's go. That one's done. Copy and paste. Get rid of you. Hide you. Control Enter. Delete. Boop. right somewhere in there. That looks fairly convincing. Yep, no, don't want that. Boop. Mask. Boop. Alright. I don't know why it's so much trickier over on that side. Anyway, that'll get the job done. So let's go diffuse. We'll do this, JPEG, yep, replace it, go there, cool, desktop, download, okay, crop, boom. You can see how it gets into a little bit of an assembly line process here when you do it like this, which works great if you got a bunch of cars that you're trying to knock out. PNG, diffuse, nope, cancel. PNG and alpha. Okay, and that's going to be done there, and Control Z, and Control Save while I'm in here. Not in the map. I want in the maps, yes. Alright, got all these, and then we're going to go into. Did I not? I did not update this. What I didn't update was I did not put my my various files and folders in there, so I just have to do that real quick so that way it'll show up in ModDev. Rid of my old wiper sync data. Teams, maps, and then main. Main maps, teams, goodbye. Okay, so now I can go back in here and grab all of my new fancy files, replace them. Oh bugger, I'm gonna have to grab my liveries. Alpha A110 Pro, extract files. Bear with me, I'm just gonna fly through these as fast as I can. This is the 14. Alright, and then we've got the 47. Textures. And I've got the, oops, 110. And then 226. This one's going to be the last one. Come on. Okay. So there's that. So those are done. And then we can go over here. I am going to have to close this down and bring it back up again. Plate. Dev mod. Okay. Almost there. Got all our fancy projection stuff in here. Rain is updated. Hopefully it'll just be close enough we don't have to worry about it too much. We can just go right in and call it good. Alright. Seems pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's like metallic-y. It's pretty cool. Alright. So let's take this guy onto the track. Did I export these properly? Alright, so let's go ahead and go over here. I don't think I did. Yeah, I need to update the gen files too. So I'm going to go ahead and go bloop. Oh, cancel. Yep, cancel. Yep. Version canceled. I need the folder. The actual location so I can pop these on here because I don't think they're in the right place. Alpine 1100, and then we're going to go wiper. And boop. Not sure why this is taking so long. Oh, probably because it's got that mesh smooth on there. Yeah. Alright. Then we'll go ahead and light these up. And we'll do anim. It's done. Go over here, gen file. Right, with notepad, and yep, there they are there. That's for the cockpit. And then this one there, save, pop, boom. Let's do this. I didn't find it. It's because I didn't name it right. Great. Why did you not? Thanks. Okay. Great. Okay. Just gotta grab this, Come on, come on. Get in there. Go ahead and save this while this is loading. Sure, we'll have, yep. I think those were all just WAV files that didn't like things. Cool. No, God. Pretty sure this is because now it may not like, because I haven't exported any of the other ones like this before, it may not like the way that this is done. Yeah. Let's take off that mesh smooth. And then we'll hopefully that just works. Unfortunately, I'm being summoned to dinner, so I am probably going to have to end the stream here. But we'll just make sure that that works. If it's not, then I'm going to have to remove the mesh smooth completely and work that out later. Okay, so that was the reason why. I just did not like that mesh smooth. Okay, so on that note, I'll end it here. Thank you for